DC has finally given us some details on their plans post-Dark Crisis. Now, we knew that they were doing this sort of softcore reboot with Dawn of DC, but now we actually have some details, and to be honest, I'm kind of mixed on them. Some things sound really good, some things sound not good. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out, but let me read you their initiative, well, their sort of mission statement, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty and the books that were announced. So, DC said, DC Comics is embarking on a year-long storytelling initiative, Dawn of DC. Following the events of Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths and DC Universe Lazarus Pit, the world's superheroes have emerged from the biggest, most devastating battles of their lives and are reinvigorated in their fights against evil. With epic new storylines, over 20 exciting new titles, superstar creative teams, and villains that will push the heroes beyond their limits in bold adventures, this line-wide multi-event narrative initiative kicks off with January's Action Comics 1051. All year long, DC will be celebrating the classic characters while also embracing the next generation of new heroes, as we're going to need everyone to help fight against the darkness. Dawn of DC will shine the spotlight on a number of fan-favorite superheroes and supervillains that haven't been front and center for some time. Now, that last bit is very funny because it sounds just like DC Rebirth, talking about bringing back classic characters that haven't been seen for a long time. That's literally what Rebirth did, and you guys abandoned it, and now you're going back, so that was very funny to me. But yeah, this is just what Joshua Williamson has been saying, that, it's darkest before the dawn. That's the thing with Dark Crisis. Everything's getting real bad, and then everything's going to be all good again, and things are going to be more happy, and we're going to see more classic heroes. So I'm excited about that, and I'm happy that it's kicking off with Action Comics as well, because as I've talked about for a while now, ever since Philip Kennedy Johnson took over, Action Comics has been my favorite book at DC. I think it's the best book at DC right now, and it doesn't really get the recognition it deserves because DC has been obsessed, absolutely obsessed with promoting Superman Son of Kal-El, the John Kent book, which no one really likes and hasn't really been giving Action Comics this shine. So to officially come out and say this is where our new initiative starts, I'm happy about that. I'm happy giving some advertising to Action Comics, pushing it forward because it deserves it. But one thing that I am worried about is they're changing some things with Action Comics. So let me read what it says. It says, officially kicking off in January with the previously announced Action Comics 1051, Dawn of DC features an exciting new era for the Man of Steel. Action Comics 1051 is the start of a format change that will see 3 new stories included in each issue from writers Philip Kennedy Johnson, Dan Jurgens, and Leah Williams. So, I really hope these extra stories don't cut in on the pages that Philip Kennedy Johnson is writing, because the stories he's been telling with Action Comics have been great. I don't want to sacrifice any of that for anyone else. I don't want him to have to change his storytelling to make it fit like a smaller page count because there's 2 other stories that need to be thrown in here. I also don't like when comics do this. Like when I buy a comic, I want it to be that one story. I don't like it. Like they've been doing this with Detective Comics and Action Comics where they throw in other stories at the end. It's like I never read those. I don't care. Give me the one story. I don't want that other story, and I hate that they're doing this. I love Dan Jurgens. I'm happy he's going to be writing some Superman, but I don't get why they're just throwing him here randomly for Action Comics. Like, why not just give him another Superman book if you're going to do that? It's weird. Also, Leah Williams, why is she here? Dan Jurgens is a legend in the comic book industry, especially when it comes to Superman, so I get having him here. But Leah Williams, wrote a bunch of X-Men books no one cared about, and that's it. She's not exactly a fan favorite. Why is she writing Superman? But hopefully this doesn't mess with the Philip Kennedy Johnson stuff, because that's what I really care about. So this will be interesting, but I don't understand DC's reasoning for doing this to Action Comics. We got Doom Patrol from Dennis Culver and Chris Burnham, which that'll be interesting to see how that plays out, because I don't think Dennis Culver has really written much. I think he did some Justice League Incarnate and some Future State stuff. I haven't read any of that, so I have no clue if he's good. I'm not a Doom Patrol fan anyways, but the artist is good. I like Chris Burnham. He did some cool stuff with Batman Incorporated, so that's good. No clue how this book will play out. I probably won't pick it up unless I hear really good things, because I'm not a Doom Patrol person, so yeah, but I'm happy that they're getting a book, though. I like when more obscure titles get books, but this is also partially because, the TV show is really well acclaimed. A lot of people really like that show. We got a Connor Kent Superboy book announced called Superboy, the Man of Tomorrow. I'm happy that Connor Kent's getting a book. It's another one where it's kind of from an unproven writer. It's got Kenny Porter writing it. I've read he wrote an issue of Superman the Man of Tomorrow, which is funny because it's now Superboy the Man of Tomorrow. So it's kind of like DC just grabbed someone random that had written a title similar. But he wrote like one issue of that, like I think a year or two ago. I read that, and it was fine. The dialogue was a little clunky, but other than that, like it was a fine book. So I've read one thing he's written, and it was one issue. I think he's also writing the Flash movie like comic that's been going on, and I heard that's actually pretty good. So I don't know, maybe he'll do good with Superboy. Again, it's kind of weird to like, hey, here's this person that's like is kind of unproven. Let's give them Superboy when we're trying to bring him back and get people really interested. Also, they brought Dan Jurgens in for Action Comics. Why didn't you just throw him on Superboy? I don't know. It's kind of weird. Like, I'm glad that they're bringing Connor back, but it's weird that they got this creative team. The artist, Janoy Lindsay, I haven't read anything that they've drawn, but the art I've seen looks good, so that's good. At least so far, the artists look pretty good. Just the writers seem a little weak. The plot for the book, or the synopsis we got, is determined to find his place in a strange universe, Connor Kent Superboy leaves Earth behind. But his journey of self-discovery brings him face to face with a group of freedom fighters who challenge not just everything Connor stands for, but what it means to bear the Superman crest. I don't know, he's not going to be on Earth. That's kind of all that told me, so we'll see how this storyline plays out. We got 2 Green Lantern books announced, one for Hal Jordan and one for John Stewart. The Hal Jordan one is going to be coming first, and the John Stewart book's going to spin out of it. The Hal Jordan one will be written by Mariko Tamaki, and we don't have an artist announced yet. I don't know why Mariko Tamaki keeps getting all these books. She was on Detective Comics, now she's here. She's from Future State stuff. I don't understand why she's on Hal Jordan. It's really weird. Again, it's like, why did you put her on here? I don't think she's the right choice for this, but DC for some reason threw on a Hal Jordan book. Now Philip Kennedy Johnson will be writing the John Stewart book, which I think he could do some awesome stuff with the Green Lanterns. He wrote like that Dark Crisis tie-in for John Stewart, which I thought was actually pretty good, and I think he could really do some cool stuff with the lore of the Green Lanterns and really flesh out like John Stewart's villains as well. I'm really excited to see what he does because he is one of the best talents at DC right now. I'm really excited to see what he does with John Stewart, and he's already got a good voice for him, so I think that was a good choice. Also, I don't know if I mentioned, but the artist for that book has not been announced either yet. But yeah, it's weird because I like Hal Jordan better than John Stewart, but I'm more excited for the John Stewart book because it's got Philip Kennedy Johnson. So now the book that I'm most excited about is we got a Green Arrow title now, and it's going to be written by Joshua Williamson, and the artist is Sean Isaacs. I haven't read anything of his, but he did the art for Thunderbolt and some other books, and from what I've seen, it looks pretty good. So I think this is a solid creative team. Green Arrow is back, thank God. I've been saying this for a while, that Oliver Queen should have his own solo book. I think Green Arrow definitely needs to be a staple at DC. It's sad that he hasn't had his own book, but this is cool. Joshua Williamson mentioned on Twitter that he's going to be reuniting the Arrow family. I'm excited about this. I'm really interested to see how Joshua Williamson does as writing Green Arrow. I think I've said this many times before that I believe when he gets to big universe-wide team stuff, I don't think Joshua Williamson does too well, like with his Justice League stuff or with Dark Crisis. It's not too great. But when he can focus on a singular hero, he does really good. Like, as much as I'm not the biggest fan of Dark Crisis, there's some good work in there with Nightwing and John, and also I really enjoyed his Flash solo book. I enjoyed what he did with Batman, the small amount he was on it. Like, he's good with singular heroes. It's just when he gets, like, these big plans is when things go south. So I'm excited to see what he does with Green Arrow. I think he's a good choice, and the plot synopsis is Oliver Queen has been lost since Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, and his family is determined to find him, but there are dangerous forces just as determined to keep them apart at any cost. I really hope this arc is short. I don't really care to go through like 6 issues of the Arrow family trying to find Oliver Queen. I hope it's just like 2 or 3 issues of, oh, they're trying to find, hey, they found Oliver, there he is, he's back, because that's what I want. I want Oliver. So yeah, I'm really excited about this though. We got a Batman the Brave and the Bold book announced, and it's going to be including a bunch of just all-star writers and artists. They mentioned a couple of them. One of them was Tom King. So there's that, but it sounds like it's going to be like, I don't know, each person will have, like, there'll be a new artist and writer on like every issue or every couple of issues. So I think that could be interesting. Just new people just telling short little Batman stories. That sounds cool. I think that's something interesting for DC to do. Yeah, I'm down for this. I am down for this. But Tom King doesn't inspire a lot of confidence. But maybe him not doing some like depressing 12-issue maxi series means he'll actually have to be a good writer again, and he'll write like something cool, like the Elmer Fudd Batman book, which was just one issue and it was a ton of fun. Maybe that Tom King could come back for this, where it's just like small little arcs. So yeah, I'm excited to see what happens with Brave and the Bold. I'm down for this. I think DC like made a good decision with this. This sounds interesting. Cyborg got his own book announced. Doesn't have a creative team though, so there's nothing really to say about this. Cyborg's a character that's like always kind of there. I've never really cared about Cyborg. I liked him in the Titans, in the Marv Wolfman, George Perez Titans. I hated him on the Justice League. He was literally just a glorified teleporter. It was literally just, we need a boom tube somewhere. Boom, he's there. Or maybe we need to hack something. And like, I didn't care for the New 52 Justice League in general, but Cyborg on the team did not fit in well. And yeah, Cyborg's just always been a character that I'm like, I don't hate him, but I don't really like him either. He's just kind of like, he exists for me. But I did like him in the new Teen Titans from Wolfman and Perez. So we'll see how, I don't know. Without a creative team, it's hard to really be excited at all about this. We got a Shazam book from Mark Waid and Dan Mora. Dan Mora is a superstar at DC right now. Everything he does looks amazing. Definitely one of the best artists at DC currently, or not even just at DC, but in comics in general. He is killing it. Mark Waid, people love what he's doing with World Finest. I read the first issue and was like, and I haven't read the rest, so yeah, I know a lot of people really like it. I'm not saying it's a bad book. The first issue didn't grab me, so I haven't picked up the rest. I'll check it out eventually, though, because I heard a lot of people love it, and Dan Mora's art is so good. So it seems like Mark Waid's having a bit of a renaissance. We'll see if he can keep it up with Shazam. It looks like it's going to be a very lighthearted, fun book, which I think fits perfectly for Shazam. Also, from what I read, it seems like it's going to be focusing on Billy Batson and not the Shazam family. So I'm happy about that, because that's been one of my complaints with, I'm not a huge Shazam fan or anything, but the Shazam comics that I have read have been the newer ones, and I'm just like, man, I would prefer if this was more about Billy, because I feel like the family takes away, but I don't know, I'm probably in the minority there, because I know there are a lot of people that love the Shazam families, and again, I'm not a big Shazam fan, so could be ignorant on this, but for me, when I read the comics, I always prefer Billy Batson. I don't really care about the Shazam family that much, so yeah, but also this is coming off the back of Mary Marvel being Shazam, and now Billy's back, so yeah. A book I did not expect us to get is a Penguin comic. We're getting a Penguin comic. They didn't say it was like, at least I couldn't see like if it's a mini maxi series or like an ongoing. It sounds like an ongoing. I don't know, but this sounds weird. I guess it's maybe because from the word I've been hearing is that DC's trying to have more like seamlessness between their movies, TV shows, and comics. And so maybe that's part of this, because the Penguin's going to be a big part of Matt Reeves' The Batman, because he was a big part in the movie, and now he's going to have his own HBO Max series. Now they're giving him his own comic as well. So I guess maybe that's part of it. I don't know. But the synopsis says, after escaping Gotham City and his criminal past to happily retire to Metropolis, the Penguin is forced back into organized crime by the U.S. government. The feathered felon and Gotham City will never be the same. Spinning out of the pages of Batman, the Penguin will be available in June from Tom King and Stefano Guadiano. I'm sorry if I butchered his name. But yeah, when I read the Tom King part, I got instantly less excited. I don't care about seeing the Penguin being depressed about something. So yeah, but this is a book that's like, why do we need this? Like, there's too many Bat books, and now you're giving Penguin a book. Like, this is something I think is stupid. Like, maybe if you did like a miniseries with someone other than Tom King, this could potentially be interesting, but otherwise, I don't know, maybe it'll be good, but I'm not going to pick this up. I don't care. A book I am excited about, well, it depends who the creative team is, because it hasn't been announced yet, is Steelworks. It's going to be about John Henry Irons and Natasha. So Natasha Irons is going to be taking up the mantle of Steel, while John Henry Irons is like leading Metropolis forward. So that sounds interesting. I wonder how that's going to play out. I guess she's going to be the hero and John's going to be mainly like operating in Metropolis, helping Metropolis, but not as a superhero. So I'm interested to see how that dynamic plays out. So yeah, I don't know. I love Steel. I've been saying it for a while that I think he deserves more recognition. He's a great character, but for some reason he's forgotten about a lot. And I was happy when I heard that Philip K. Johnson was going to be bringing him back for Action Comics. He's going to have a bigger role. He's a great character. I'm happy he's getting his own book. It's just, man, all my hype could die if they're like, and the person writing it is Leah Williams. It's like, no, you know. I'm trying to keep my hype tempered because I love Steel, but this could go really bad. This could go south fast if they just do some like dumbass writer on here. So we'll see how it goes. And that was it for the books that were announced. But something I do want to point out is that there's like this sort of graph or whatever that they showed to represent the Dawn of DC, and there's a Hawkman logo on there. But they didn't announce a Hawkman book. But also, I think I went through, like, there's like 10 books announced or something like that. But they said in their mission statement that there's 20 new books. So there's 10 more. So we still have more to come out. And I'm assuming one of those is going to be a Hawkman book. So that'll be interesting. I hope we get something good. If that would be cool if they brought Venditti back for Hawkman. I don't know if he wants to come back to Hawkman or not. But his brief stint on Hawkman he had was really good. So I'm interested to see how that goes. Yeah, it was kind of weird that they had the Hawkman logo on there, but then didn't announce the Hawkman book. Especially because we have literally like 0 details on Steelworks. No, like a tiny little synopsis and no creative team. But they announced that book. But Hawkman, they're not going to announce, but they'll put the logo. I don't understand that. But that sounds cool. Yeah, this is a mixed bag. I'm excited for the Green Arrow stuff. I'm mixed on Action Comics because I love Action Comics right now, and I don't want this to eat into the page count. But also, I'm happy that Dan Jurgens is going to be writing some Superman. A lot of the other stuff is not too great. Shazam could potentially be really fun. Yeah, there's a mix. I just don't understand some of the writers' choices. Like some of the people, like Marika Tamaki and Hal Jordan. What are you doing? Like, why is that there? I don't understand. But it seems like DC's trying to do like kind of a half-assed DC Rebirth. It's like, hey, it's a DC Rebirth with 50% less effort. That's what it feels like. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. We'll see what the other titles are. For the other titles, man. If I had to like what I would really want, I would love for Jonah Hex to come back. Give Chimmy Palmiotti and Justin Gray a call and bring them back for Jonah Hex. I would love that. Probably not going to, definitely not going to happen. But I'd love that if I could choose a title. Yeah, so that's basically it. I want to hear from you guys in the comments below. What do you think of the future of DC? Are you excited for this? Are you not? And also out of these that were announced, which one are you most excited for? For me, it's Green Arrow. I want to hear from you guys in the comments below, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you later.
Hey, skinny boy, saucy boy, I be running to the bank. Yeah, you know I hit the gas in the whip full tank. Riding past the ocean while I'm listening to Frank.